I'll be doing a comparison of the Howa model 1500 compared to the differences with its parent, the Remington 700, which it's essentially copied from, but with major improvements, and I'll go through those one by one. Number one, the bottom metals. Like, I've got both of the bottom metals. No real difference, you know, nothing significant. You know, the latch is like the release on the bottom metal on the Remington is inside the trigger guard and works fine. It's alloy, so cast alloy, yeah, nice and light. The Howa release is on the outside, and the Howa release is the Howa bottom metal is actually cast stainless, and it appears to be anyway. I've had scratched a couple of them and found that they weren't a coating, they were actually stainless. So that's the bottom metal. Not much difference between the bottom metals, no big deal. One significant difference is the triggers. The HACT Howa actuator controlled trigger that comes with the Howas these days it's a very nice trigger. Don't get me wrong. It's machined from a solid billet of stainless steel, and you know, all the bits are solid stainless except for screws, which are, you know, carbon steel, and you know, circlips. Now it's a very compact unit. You know, not a lot of, you know, not too busy. And if you want to adjust the weight on these things, they come at about 4.5 pounds, I think. And if you want to adjust, it's not heavy, but I like it a bit lighter, you know. And I like it usually 2.5 pounds. You know, this isn't a hunting setup. You know, I'm not going to be trudging around the field, you know, jumping fences with it. So I like to have a lighter trigger on it, 2.5 pounds, 2 pounds. So I've fitted the chimney. If you want to change the weight on these things, there's nothing wrong with the trigger. It's really clean, breaks crisply, no creep. You've got to cut the actual trigger spring, so you've got to take it apart. It's not a big deal, and cut the spring. So there's nothing wrong with these triggers. They're really, really well made, very solid. The Remington trigger is a different story altogether. It's all sheet steel. And, you know, obviously there's a few cast bits, machine bits, yeah, it's all over the place. You know, don't even ask me what that is. And this spring popped out of it when I took the trigger out. That thing there is to actuate the rocker arm for the bolt release. Yeah, there you go. That's what it does. The bolt release is at the bottom, like there. Oh, yeah, it's all over the place. There's just stuff everywhere. It's pretty complex. Yeah, there you go. It's pretty complex. Not my idea of, you know, how I would. Much better. So, Howa 1, Remington 0. As far as triggers, bottom metals are a draw. Bolts, yeah, big difference there. The Remington bolt, it's got, from what I can see, it has got one vent hole. So right there. So if you have, I'll show you there, right there. If you have a catastrophic failure of a case, like a case head separation, I don't know, whatever, which is pretty rare. I mean, unless you're just reloading the same cases 100 times. So the escaping gases just kind of come out that hole or out the back. You know, that's the only place they can go once the bolt's in battery. So. Yeah, not too good. Whereas the Howa bolt, you know, you've got hole. It's like Swiss cheese. This thing, you know, 3 massive vent holes. You know, any gas that's escaping from out the back is going to go straight to the magazine, because when you've got that in battery, those holes straight down going into the magazine. So yeah, much better. What else about the bolts? Oh, yeah, probably the biggest difference, Seiko extractor on the Howa. Yeah, big difference. Whereas the old Remington extractor, yeah, I've seen some videos about extraction problems with these things. Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of people get those type extractors fitted to these bolts, or M16 style extractor fitted to the bolt. You know, you can buy kits. You know, you go look up Brownell's website. The Seiko extractor or M16 style extractor kits for Remington 700 bolts. And there's a reason for that. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not because people are addicted to Seiko extractors or M16 style extractors. It's because yeah, those extractors, yeah, not a big fan. The other thing about the bolts is that if you want to take the Remington 700 bolt apart for cleaning, it's a drama. You know, there's a lot of malarkey involved in there, and I'm not going to even go down that path. You want to know how to take that thing apart for cleaning, the Remington 700 bolt? And there's plenty of YouTube videos explaining how to do it, and it's not easy. You need 3 hands. Whereas the Howa bolt, if you want to take that apart for cleaning, it's like this. Push, turn, away you go. How easy is that? I mean, seriously. Remington should have done that a long time ago. You know, really. And get it back together, away you go. Yeah, too easy. So easy, you know. So, 2-0 to Howa. The other thing is, if you want to remove your trigger on the Remington, or change the trigger, which is I've done that. This is a Timney, which I love Timneys. You know, big fan, huge fan of Timneys. I think they're fantastic. The drama in removing the old trigger and replacing it with this one was, yeah, there were times there when I thought, ooh, am I doing the right thing here? Am I going to damage something? Are these pins, you know, so stiff that, you know, are they supposed to be that stiff? Yeah, I was worried I was going to have to take this thing to the gunsmith and go with my tail between my legs going, yeah, I should have got you to do this. But, no, you know, I replaced it successfully in the end, but, it, you know, yeah, it wasn't easy. I don't advise it. If you have no engineering skills whatsoever, or, you know, mechanical skills whatsoever, get someone who knows what they're doing and replace it, because it's not easy. Whereas the Howa, if you want to replace a trigger, that screw there, that socket screw, straight out, new trigger in, away you go, ready to go. I think I used to have a Tika. I think it's exactly the same setup. Yeah, so easy, and that's a Timney as well. Love Timneys. What else? What other major differences are there? Obviously, the Howa takes the same bases as the Remington, you know, scope bases, which is good, you know, for availability, aftermarket and whatnot. The Remington action, it obviously starts off, you know, as a piece of round bar, 416 stainless round bar. You know, well, you're not going to machine a round unit out of a square billet. You know, that's just crazy, pardon me. So it obviously starts off as a cylinder. And the recoil lug is essentially a washer that gets wedged in between the action and the barrel when the barrel gets threaded in the action. So it's a separate piece, and this one is, yeah, they sort of, is it centered properly? Yeah, sort of. So it's a separate piece, you know. Whereas the Howa, I mean, you know, check that out. This action starts off as a, you know, square, rectangular, whatever billet of 416 stainless, and it gets machined. You know, from that, it doesn't start off, you know, life as a piece of round bar. It starts life off as a square billet, because that recoil lug, it's not a separate piece. That is integral to the action. Much, much better. I have to tell you. And that recoil lug, once you get that recoil lug, which I do, I get the recoil lug bedded. The action screw goes into the recoil lug, so that recoil lug gets pulled down into the stock, and they're really solid affair. I have to tell you, brilliant design. How I really got it right with that. The bolt releases, the bolt release on the Remington is here. It actuates a lever that releases the bolt on the side. The Howa bolt release is there. Sort of more, it does a similar job actually, but yeah, it's not actually a part of the trigger, which is I think is better really. Makes the trigger less busy, less fussy, less stuff hanging off it. What else can I really compare? Considering they are totally separate calibers and barrel lengths, but the design, that's what I'm focusing on. Safeties, that's a 2-position safety on the Remington. The Howa has a 3-position safety, I think. No, a 2. It's got a 2-position safety as well. I can't remember what the original safety was on the original trigger, but in any case, that's all I'm interested in. Safe fire. That's all you really need. What else can I compare? It's pretty much about it. The barrel. There's no doubt that they'll be made out of the same 416 stainless steel. And if you want to have a look at a Howa setup, what happens inside the stock, when you bed that recoil lug in there and you do that screw up, that is not it's solid. It's not going anywhere. Lovely, beautiful. Yeah, big fan of it. So that's essentially the two compared, and I think the clear winner is the Howa. Obviously the Remington is the parent, but Howa in Japan, they obviously had a look at it and said, well, I think we could do a lot of things different and better, and they did. So that's about it, and I'll see you guys next time.